Welcome back to WZ Bricks and the first proper episode of building a custom Lego city. And as you can see, the Lego room is in total disarray. We've been destroying the Batcave for the last day or so. You've got a box full of the plates, totally unsorted box there. These bags of bits and pieces were in these boxes and I just needed something to put them in. And I've just running out of storage space like nobody's business. So yeah, these are all here. We've got sort of the dark blue grey plates, dark blue grey bricks, slopes. Underneath that is filler brick, loads of bags of filler bricks, plates we've started to sort of like sort out. They're not in any sizes, they're just like by colour. And then up the top here, resting on top of there, we've got obviously the tree that's in the rancor pit. More dark blue grey bricks. So yeah, we've got a really busy few days here just trying to get this all cleared and sorted. Ready so we can start on the Lego city here. So this week is going to be sort of like probably just an outline week, just working out how we're going to be doing sections on here. As I mentioned in the previous video with planning the custom Lego city, it's going to be 5 large grey base plates wide, by 8 in length. This here only holds 2x4, so but because we're doing it modular, so we can connect them and move it all around. We're going to start building on there until we finish Jabba's Palace, so we can then just carry on building both mocks at the same time. And to be fair, I want to put lots of detail into the custom Lego city, so building on this area here is not going to be too much of a problem. So we're going to be able to build on here, and then by the time we've sort of like covered this area, we should have finished Jabba's Palace, and then we'll be able to extend it and go from there. But yeah, I'll just share with you the state of the room at the moment. It is a complete pigsty. It is just Lego all over the floor. You rip it apart and it just flies everywhere. But we'll get it sorted and it'll be nice once we've got a little bit more organisation here. But I'm really dreading sorting through that lot. And the Batcave has gone. Put some base plates down, ready to start the city. 2x4 here so far. As I mentioned before, it's potentially going to be 5x8 in size. Now, what we're going to be doing, working out exactly how everything's going to be going. So this 4 base plates here is likely to be Arkham Asylum, or the island that it's going to be on if we do go down the island route, which I think I will do. I am going to revisit the plans I provisionally put out last week. So they are going to be very similar. However, what I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm not going too high on the city, because I don't want to have to put ridiculous amounts of filler brick underneath everything. So I want to get the city, where the buildings are, as low as possible. So if we are going to have a stream down the middle, or a canal, whatever you want to call it, I need to make sure that it is worthwhile doing, because obviously the bridge is going over. I mean, the road's going to be higher, so everything's going to need to be high, and I don't want to be using like 700 bricks per tile just to raise it up to the relevant level. So yeah, we're just going to have a rethink on the plans, and once we've done so, we'll check back in and show you what we've come up with. And the fun and games have begun, and we haven't even laid a brick on the table. And it's all coming down to scaling and designs and things like that. Now, this is the Arkham Asylum set. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a totally custom city, so don't worry, this won't be going on here. But we're just trying to work out how big everything's going to be. Now, originally, I'd allocated 2 of these large grey base plates for Arkham Island. However, it's not going to be anywhere near enough. So if I allocated 4 to it, then we're only going to have 3 available, because it's only going to be 5 wide, and try and build the rest of the city on here, or the start of the city in here, is where we need to make sure that it's big enough. Now, I have decided that I'm not going to do the loop road around the buildings here. I'm just going to make it a pedestrianised area that leads down to sort of like the waterfront side of it there. But I just want to make sure that I'm getting everything in a realistic size, proportion-wise, before we go any further, because what I don't want to happen is to sort of like build all this area up and think, oh, we haven't got enough room for there. As you can see on here, the GCPD is on the second base plate down, and then goes on to the third base plate down. Whereas if we make Arkham Asylum, and it's just those 2, then obviously we've already lost the equivalent of 24 studs on that section there. So we would then need to gain that on these bottom 2. obviously by losing the road around the bottom there, we could do it. But what I don't want to happen is when you're looking at this city, that the Arkham Asylum is really, really prominent on there and takes the focus away from the rest of the city. So I just want to make sure that everything does look really good on there and spot on. So, but we'll have a play. I'm thinking about using the art plates to raise the level up, and we're just going to play with the levels going up and down accordingly. And we might start off by building the base over for the section on the right, on the bottom, or what will be the right hand side of the city, just to start with, and then we'll work out from there. And what I might do is I might make the GCPD and the fire brigade on a slightly lower level to the top bit, but where the vehicles come out, they will come out on a different part of it. So it might be a 2-tier building. The road section, again, on Arkham Island, rather than it coming out towards the GCPD, I'm thinking about making it come out of the back, so it goes more towards the Wayne Tower and things like that. So we are going to have the road which will be going underneath the raised platform, and then it will just sort of like be as if the road continues off the mock, and then it'll be going there, so a cross section here as opposed to a T-junction. So yeah, lots of decisions to make here, and we need to obviously make sure we start them off on the right direction. And I'm going to just have a little play with these art plates, and what I'm thinking about doing is putting 9 of them on one of these grey base plates just to raise it up, because obviously they are very sturdy, and it'd be a good way of getting the height up with only having to put a stack of bricks in 5 places, so in each corner and then in the middle there, because the rest of it will take the weight perfectly okay. But what I need to make sure I can do is move the base plates with everything on there and they don't pop apart, because when I did the Batcave roof and we used them, I had to put about 3 or 4 levels of plate just to keep it all together, which obviously would be defeating the purpose. And here we have one section built up, and we just thought we'd prototype it to make sure it's going to be strong enough, and it's really strong and sturdy. You put a lot of weight on there, you're not going to have any trouble building it up. So that's sort of like mill style we're going to be using on certain parts of it. The rest of it we will be using like just 1 or 2 bricks high. So this here, there's stacks of 4 bricks, and we're putting them on all the corners and in the centre, and when it overlaps a plate we've also put it there as well. So it's got plenty of strength on there. And here we have the walls that are going to be surrounding the Gotham City at the front of it. So the water will be coming up to here and then go around the corner. We've gone for 3 masonry bricks high on top of 1 normal brick. The water, we're going to have 2 layers of plate, and then the trans blue tiles, the same as what we did in the bottom of the Batcave, but obviously the plates underneath will be a different colour to that. Not 100% sure what colour we're going to go for yet. And I'm thinking this is possibly the right height for there. We will be putting a curve on the wall for the bridge, and that will be going like so. We just need to find out some light blue grey ones to go across, and then that'll go there. So it will step up slightly, and then there'll be a step going down on the other side. But I'm hoping that's about the right height. It does look marginally too tall at the moment, however, that's because the water's not on here. So once it's in there, it's just going to be the 3 bricks. So as I said, we don't want this to be unnecessarily high. And we've made a very slight amendment to this section just here. As you can see, that was the width there was originally at the back there, and we've shrunk it by 2 bricks, 1 either side, just there. And the reason for that is we can then fit an art plate nicely on that section there, so it's going to be a lot easier to build that up. The other thing as well is these are 16 studs wide, and we've got 48 there. So it's 64, so it's the equivalent of 2 of the base plates that you would get on a modular set. So again, the dimensions mean that we are working in a well-known number within modular sets sort of thing. So we can, if we come across any modular sets we really like, we can sort of like base it on those, although we won't actually be using those sets. And the same for this side here, it's the equivalent of 2 base plates, or the standard base plate width going along that section. And I've just bought a different tabletop in here just so I can put in the full width of the city. So here we have the 2 initial sections that we put in. Now I've left that open there, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the brick wall on this base plate here, and then slide it up and then connect it. And the reason being, it was just so I could use these art plates in full, because 3 of those equals 1 of the 48 by 48 grade base plates. So that's all good along there. So this section here is where we're going to have the island for Arkham Asylum. So we're just going to sort of like do a rough outline of how we're going to do that, and then the bridge coming out of Arkham Asylum will be going that side. We were going to have art plates all the way along this section here, but we've decided to lower it by 1 brick and just put normal plates in. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a road using bricks and then line them on their side and lay it all the way down here. And what we'll do, we'll put 1 row of bricks along there, which will be the curb, and the same, and leave it so there's an 18 stud gap between, which will enable us to put a road in there which will cater for 2 vehicles at a maximum width of 7 studs each, which is all I really want to have on there. I don't want to use 8 stud wide vehicles going around the city because I think it will make the buildings look smaller. What we might end up doing is removing one of these here and put like a couple of parking spaces, but we'll cross that bridge later on. But I just want to get a rough layout here. So altering things like this later on will be easy enough to do. So I'm going to carry on building the road in along there, build that bit up there. I've run out of the art plates, so we'll have to just use normal bricks and plates for that. And then once we've done that, we will then be able to put an outline of the building on here, which will be the fire brigade and also the police station. Over here, this is obviously where we're going to have the island for Arkham Asylum. And again, I'm contemplating, originally I was going to have the road here, then I was thinking about putting it at the back. But the thing is, I want it so that the road going into it, you have like the Arkham Asylum sign going across the top. So I'm thinking it possibly look nicer having it so you can see it from the front of the mock rather than sort of like from the side looking back this way. So chances are I will go back to it and then I'll sort of like change the road section here. But again, these little tweaks are so easy to change. That's all fine. This section here will all be one movable section. I'm not going to be doing anything with the island just yet. And the reason for that is I want to do a lot of sort of like planning for the island, because I want to, if I put any tunnels underneath Arkham Asylum or like the sewage pipes or anything like that, I want to be able to pull a section away so you can actually see into it. So again, I want to make sure that I've got this exactly how I want it to be before I start work on that. And the same goes for all of the buildings. They are going to be modular, but I want to be able to pull the fronts off so you can actually see inside the building if you want to do so without having to take layer after layer off. So it'll be a very similar build design as what's on the Daily Bugle set. And just checking in one final time for this update, and here we have it. So I've got the layout of the first few buildings that are going to be on here. The road section is all ready to go. So we found another art plate which we managed to put down in that corner, so that's all good. So it's all consistent along there. And what we're thinking about doing is making this whole section join together, so these 2 base plates, because the GCPD is going to be this block here, so that whole section there, and obviously we don't want it so it's between 2 base plates. The fire brigade just behind, and then I'm going to do 2 smaller buildings there, so whether it's like a news agents or a cafe, some little detail on there. And then over here we have 4 separate buildings which will probably be 2 or 3 stories high, and then a sort of like a pavemented area along the front here with some benches which can look out over the water. And then, as I mentioned before, just need to work out what we're doing with the island. So yeah, it's a start. It's been more of a sort of like just getting used to the sizes and making sure I think we're happy with the height of things, how narrow the like channel bit going through there with the water's going to be, and things like that. So hopefully on the next update, I'm contemplating making a start on the building, which will be the police department, I think. But again, we need to make sure we get the right designs on those. So yeah, that's all we've got time for on this update. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Share it with as many people as possible, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be kept up to date with any future content on the channel. Anyway, thanks for hopping on by. See you soon. Bye for now.